I look very pale.
Good morning. She's embracing the natural look today because I'm lazy. I've been doing it lately. I've been doing this I'm going to put the braid in the front so I don't look bald. Hold on. I've been doing this braided hairstyle.
It's very thick.
Well, my hair is getting really long.
Yeah.
And I don't want to wear it down all the time.
You're making me touch my hair.
And I don't want to wear it down all the time. My bangs are not big. I need a haircut because I need them to zhuzh it up a little bit, but I haven't done that yet, obviously. Today's a special day because our biggest fan.
That's right. Actually, we have 2 fans that have birthdays today in our close little circle.
Yes, we do.
We do.
It's Brother Carter's birthday.
Happy birthday, Brother Carter.
Happy birthday, Brother Carter. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's his 63rd or 64th. 63rd. Is it 63rd?
Mm-hmm.
It's his 63rd birthday. And of course, our biggest fan, Brittany Edwards. Good morning. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brittany. We're going to be hanging out tonight.
We are. We're going to be celebrating
with the Brittany Edwards.
With the Brittany Edwards. She said, happy birthday, Brother Carter. So yes, 2 legendary birthdays today. I'm so excited.
And I just spoke to my mother, whose birthday is Sunday.
Yes.
My people's are in October. And then of course we have.
Well, I'm actually been kind of annoyed because there's a lot of October things going on, and I feel like my birthday is getting neglected a little bit. Not by you, Brittany. You're fine. I just mean by other people. I'm like, did we forget that it's also my birthday
and Halloween? But you've battled that your whole life.
Well, I'm fine. I'm fine with people wanting to do Halloweeny things as long as we also remember it's my birthday. I remember one year I went to someone else's Halloween party on my birthday, which I don't mind. But wish me happy birthday.
Can you recognize?
Right. Sing me happy birthday. There's actually a video of me last year on my birthday. I'll find it and I'll play it next week when we talk more about my birthday. But I have this video of everyone around me and they're all chitter chattering and I want to blow out my candles and do the cake and everything. And I'm like, okay, sing to me, go.
Oh, I think, yeah.
That was last year.
Yeah, I remember this.
Yeah.
It's you can start singing now.
Yes. Singing to me.
And here's me. Do we really still have to do that at your age? She's like, absolutely. Yes, you do. And I'm like, and the thing is I hate being, I don't like it.
Well, we're going to sing to Brittany and Brother Carter right now.
Oh, we are? No, you are. I'm not.
No, you're singing too.
Nobody wants that.
Okay, ready?
We're going to go to no viewership.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Brittany and Brother Carter. Happy birthday to you. Woo!
Happy birthday. I'm just going to tell you, everybody in our lives, you're not going to get that.
Happy birthday?
We're not going to do this every Friday.
No.
We're just doing it because, but they both watch the show and it is their actual birthday.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to sing to me next week.
Oh, I am?
You are.
Okay. I'm going to get reinforcements.
Okay.
I'm going to have call-ins or something.
That's fine.
Maybe, I don't know what we're going to do.
Lauren said, happy birthday, Brittany. Happy birthday. Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about blended families. And that can mean more. What?
It can. Like we are.
It can mean different things. We could be talking about blending in terms of step-parent, stepchild situation. Were we going to talk about racial blending?
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, whatever it means to you. Brittany's part of the J&A family, right? That's a blended family. We're all going to celebrate her birthday tonight. Mm-hmm. Brother Carter is a part of our family.
That's true.
The Carter crew.
And
we're a part of theirs.
What family means to you? Because that can mean us all sorts of things.
Because you and I are sort of on a family island here. It's just us.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of extended family where we're at.
You do have your stepfather. Mm-hmm. So that's part of the traditional
blended
family, right?
There's a lot of water bottles here. Yeah. And only one of them are mine.
I'm sort of guilty of that. Anyway, let's move on because they can't see it.
I just got distracted. I saw one.
If you actually saw this room right now, Everything's on that side of the camera. I did change out the butterflies to fall colored butterflies. I'm not sure if you noticed that.
I didn't even notice that. Wow.
It's the little details that I paid far too much attention to.
I'm so excited for the weather. Like literally the other day, I'm like, it smells like fall. Like I can just smell it. And I've been in, and we'll talk more about this next week too, but we're transitioning in life. And I was telling her this morning, I was on my skinny girl stuff. I was really trying to be like a skinny mini little queen. And then I had to stop because I had to focus my efforts on another area in my life. But now that kind of resolving it, it's going to get there. And so now I can be a skinny mini little queen, or I can try. And so I'm going to go for a little walk today because it's such a nice day. I got my joggers on. Can you see they have like a little red stripe?
Are those from?
Yes, okay. They're from my dance team in high school, and I still wear them.
Well, they still fit. That's a good sign.
I was big then too.
Okay.
See,
I don't really know what to say.
If I tried to wear something from when I was like,
if I wore something from 20, high school, well, we all fluctuate.
Yeah.
But when you say something about, actually, I was going to say this earlier when you talked about only being able to focus on one like major thing at a time.
Oh yeah.
This is kind of related to blended families, so we're just going to wrap it up into my
go ahead, girl.
We're going to talk about my personal life for a second.
Yeah, go ahead, girl.
Back when your stepdad and I had split, we weren't divorced. We were just separated, and we were separated for a while. And I started dating somebody, and he was kind of pushing me like it happened to be a month before you were leaving for college. Right? And so the person I was dating at the time started like, we need to file for divorce. You need to file for divorce. You need to do this. You need to do that. And I was like, my daughter's leaving for college in 1 month. Like, let me
focus on
and then we had we were doing like a going away trip before you left for college. And we're trying to get our apartment and all this other stuff. And I was like, I will do that. Like, we're good. Like, it's 2 months away. Just like chill out. Just let me like get her off to college, and then I'll focus on the next thing, which is getting a divorce, right? And he ended up breaking up with me. I think it was just a good excuse, whatever, because he couldn't fathom that I had to like focus on one important thing before I could move on to the next important thing.
Yeah, and he really wanted to blend the families. He wanted his kids to be your kids so bad.
I know, and I love his kids, and that was my first experience actually with dating somebody with children. I've been a stepdaughter several times. I'm a professional. Yep. I still continue to be a professional stepdaughter. But I had never been a stepmother. And so maybe it's my experience of being a stepchild, but I welcomed that.
Oh no, I think
like I'm like, I am down to be a stepmom.
I think there was a point in time where where I was like single and I was like, picking out who I wanted to date or whatever. And I was like okay with and kind of, I guess, eager to like be with somebody with a kid because I didn't necessarily want to have kids yet, but I like kids. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Plus, well, typically,
I like some kids because some of y'all kids are rotten.
But people don't at me because you're a father who has full custody. Typically, the mother does.
Typically, yeah.
And so if you're a woman dating a man,
no tea, no shade.
No, I mean me saying that my father had custody. After 10 and on, my dad raised me, or my dad had me. But so typically, if you're a woman marrying or dating or whatever, a man with kids, typically you don't have to deal with those kids full time.
Allegedly, yeah.
Allegedly,
yeah. You get to be like a part-time parent,
and it's fun. And then hopefully, if you get along with the ex and all that, which I was fortunate that all those things worked out for me. I was also older.
I feel like being a step parent's like the perfect role because you get to be fun and you get to do
no discipline.
You don't have to discipline them.
Again, if you have full time, then you do.
It depends. Well, and I think it depends too because I think some parents like they don't want the step parent even if they're full time. They're like, no, that's my child. I'll do all the disciplining.
You got it.
But how does that play? Like if there's a rotten little step kid that acts like a angel around their real parent. But then when the step parent comes around, then they act some type of way. But the parent of the child has already set a boundary, like you're not allowed to discipline my kids. Don't yell at them. Don't tell them what to do. Which I think.
Were you like that with your step?
No, but I think that like it's also. I think you need to if you're a person with children and you're dating someone who doesn't have children and you're bringing that person into your life. Obviously not right away, but at a certain point, that person needs to play a parental role. I think that should be the expectation. I think you should allow that too.
But that is why you shouldn't bring your kids around someone you're dating until it's turn serious.
Right.
You know?
But if you're like married and living with someone and that person is that child's stepdad or stepmom, whatever, step parent, I think that they should have a say in some of the decisions. Maybe not as strong of a vote as the two actual parents, of course, but like I do think that they should have some sort of a say because they're living there. They have to, you're still going to ask the step parent to take them to school, but they can't ground them or they can't, say no to them or you know what I'm saying? Like
there's certain level.
If you have the like, cause for me, I'm a dog mom. I have 2 little dogs. And I have like told my partner, like, they're not really interested in like being a dog parent. And so I tried to like say like, well, like we're not living together or anything yet. But like, I was like, well, when that happens, you might have to.
Your dogs are good though. They'll listen to it.
I was like, you might have to walk them sometimes. Or like, if I'm not there,
just so you know,
they need to be fed.
Abby and I are mother and daughter, but because we live together right now, that's kind of like a blended family. Like I took on her dogs when she moved in. And my dog, who I adore.
And I don't like.
But Abby can't stand him. Well, I can't stand his strong.
I don't like that man.
I think she's jealous because I love him.
I'm not jealous.
But guess what? My dog.
Funky bad breath buddy. I'll tell you that. I'm not jealous of no funky bad breath buddy.
Anyway, my dog only listens to Abby though.
That's true.
So when I want him to do something, I'm like, Abby, can you tell my dog to come inside now?
Because my dogs, I'm a yeller. I yell.
Who knew with blended families we'd be talking about our dogs?
I'm a yeller. I yell. And my dogs respond very well to that. They listen if I just raise my voice, and I'm not even mad. I just talk loudly.
She's very loud.
And they respond well. And her dog, she's like, "Oh, buddy, come inside, babe. Come in." And
I feel like if as I get older, I have bladder problems, it's due to you loudly yelling in the house. Like I'm like, oh. Anyway,
my dogs respond very well to yelling. But something that I don't like, and this is like, I guess we're using our dogs because obviously I'm your kid and we don't have kids together because you're my mom. But like I don't really feed my dogs like people food. Like occasionally I'll throw them a French fry or something because then they beg and I don't like when they beg. So I don't do that. But when their nana's around, Minnie, she's a little tiny little chihuahua. For the whole time I've had her, she's been 5 pounds. All of a sudden, she's 7 pounds, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you're 5 pounds and you gain almost 50% of your weight because your grandma keeps feeding you people food.
She does love me.
Well, yeah, and she could care less if I live or die because you give her the people food.
Because I'm a feeder. That's what I do.
You're a feeder.
I'm a nurturer. So speaking of because I said I've only really my first experience with dating someone with kids, right? The relationship was maybe 6 months long, 7 or 8 years ago. And I literally just went, he had 3 kids. Mm-hmm. I literally just went to dinner a couple of weeks ago with 2 of the 3.
2 of the 3, yeah.
Because I still those are my stepkids. 6 months the relationship lasted, and those are my stepkids.
Well, and I also feel like, so I never really had a so my father married somebody and who had a daughter, and I interacted with her.
The same exact, like you guys were 1 week apart.
Yeah, we were very close in age, but he married a woman from Germany. So the girl, and we're still friends on Snapchat, but she's Brazilian and German. So she was still learning English when I met her. She knew English, but
a little broken.
Yeah. She knew English. And I went and spent 2 weeks over there and I hung out with her and I was like, okay, cool. This is my stepsister. And then I never saw her again because they got divorced. And then when you were dating that guy who had the kids, that kind of felt similar. And I don't know how I'm an only child. If you don't know now, you know, I'm an only child, which means I'm the center of attention. I get everything I want.
You can't tell just by meeting her.
I get everything I want. And the world revolves around me, truly, honestly. So, I
feel like I am both an only child and a sibling. Go ahead. Continue.
Back to me. Anyways, and so I didn't mind it because I always wanted siblings, mainly because I want someone to be mean to. I saw this video of this girl, and she was at the grocery store, and she's I don't know, probably in her 20s. She's in her 20s, and she was with her little sister who's maybe 6, 7, 8, 9 in that. I don't really know the age of children. And there was like pumpkins in the grocery store, and she touched one of those, like those ones that have all the lumpy bumpies on them. Mm-hmm. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're going to die. You're going to die. You shouldn't have touched the pumpkin."
That is some stuff you would do.
and the little girl started crying. She goes, "Sorry, like I'll meet you in heaven, girl. You're dying. Like you're going to die." And the little girl. And I laughed because I'm like, that would 100% be me.
And you know where you get that? Back to the story of your dad chasing you around with a knife.
Oh, 100%. I need to torment somebody because I was tormented. I want to read some comments from Brittany because Brittany, I know.
Brittany's the only one on today.
No, we have people on. But it's her day off. She took the day off for her birthday. So she's able to comment more.
We should meet up earlier. Never mind. Go ahead.
Brittany said, "Yeah, I have no say. I usually keep my mouth shut when it comes to disciplining others' kids. I offer advice only if I'm asked." Randall's son, Randall's her man, not little, but you know what I'm saying, her man, whatever.
It's because Brittany, doesn't have children. Because once you become a mom, you feel like the universe has just made it okay to discipline everybody's kids.
So she said, Randall's son, I usually won't add my 2 cents, even though I have a lot to say. At the end of the day, he's not mine biologically. And then she said, my mom takes care of her grand dog most of the time. And then she responded to this about eating people food. She said, my mom does the same thing. Every time I take her to the vet, they say she needs to lose weight. And I say, it's her grandma's fault. And then she said, I'm the only child between my parents. My sister is a half sister.
Okay. I believe that Terry Gibson is watching. Terry, chime in, because once you become a grandparent, and that includes grand dog, there's no rules. I spoil them if I want to. They're at grandma's house. They're at Nana's house. They get what Nana gives them.
Minnie has rolls. She has back rolls.
She looks good with rolls.
She's a big girl.
Hey, I got rolls too. I just wanted to look more like her Nana. But
gaining almost half her body weight is insane, though.
Well, I'm going to spoil her. And that's what's going to happen.
And she's going to be a fat girl.
If and when you have children, that's going to happen.
And I had to take her to the vet because she was like, she was in pain all the time. And it's probably because she's so big, her little legs can't hold her big body right now. Because of you.
I'm just going to go ahead and say, too. So my ex's children, my stepkids, I'm still friends with their mother,
She
too.
said there are no rules for grandmothers.
See? So my stepkids, I'm still actually friends with their mother, too, right? The youngest was 8 when we dated, so he's going on 16 now, right? And he was asking about you, and he goes, "Oh, she didn't like me." I go, "No, she liked you." And he goes, "No, she was mean to me." I go, "No, that she liked being mean to you." She had a little brother, and she's like taking full advantage, Mm-hmm. So he would. Yeah, I don't think you.
I think the universe knew not to give me a little sibling because I would torment them. I would definitely pull the pranks like, "Oh, you were adopted." Like I would do all the like terrible things, which is probably best that I didn't. That's why I yell at my dogs, because who else am I going to yell at?
The crazy part about that, right, is that he like has affection for you. Like he's like, "Oh, I don't think she liked me. She was mean to me." I go, "No, she wanted to be mean to you because she wanted a little brother being mean to you." And he has fond memories of you being mean to him.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Anyway, but I'm like,
can I tell a story?
Yeah, hold on. Because I started to say, I'm an only child between my mother and my father. Mm-hmm. So they split up, and then my mother got remarried, but didn't have kids for a while. So I was an only child. And then my dad got remarried a few times, but didn't have any kids living with him. Oh, maybe he did. I don't remember. I was young. Anyway, at some point, I eventually moved in with my dad. Then he got married for time number 4. But they're still married. So it's going on. It's like 35 years. No shade. Mm-hmm. We went through a short period of time where we had a lot. But anyway, so I have a stepsister, right? And she's been my stepsister since I was 12, 13. So that's a long time because I'm in my 50s now. Nope, 50 again. And I don't like saying it in my 50s. Anyway, but
I did my nails.
So I know what it's like to be an only child. Mm-hmm. Thank you for just, sticking to the subject.
You're taking a long time.
Anyway, but what I was going to say was, because hopefully none of them are watching it now, because I'm about to like get a little personal right now. So my stepmom has been my stepmom since I was 12. Mm-hmm. A long time. And my stepsister, and since she was like 7 and I was 12, right? Or however old she is. But I'm not included in her family's things. Mm. And so I kind of like, I wasn't really going to bring that up, but just thought about it. So it's like, what like so they have like a girls like get together where it's my sister, my stepmom, and then like the niece, all her nieces or whatever. And they go to Las Vegas and they have like this big girls weekend, and they've never asked you and I or me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how to feel about that, because part of me is like, okay. But then I'm like, I have been your stepdaughter since I was 12 years old. At what point do I get included in this stuff?
Yeah.
You know? So thoughts? Or if anybody else has thoughts on that. I think I'm not like super mad.
Do you want my thoughts?
Yes.
Do you want my thoughts? Because my thoughts are, that's a little shady boots. A little bit. Yeah. A little shady boots. But I also think but I don't know, because I also understand kind of wanting to keep things in the family, but you are a part of the family. And I do believe that when you choose to marry someone with kids, you should take on those children as if they were your own. Obviously, respecting the boundaries of the parent, right?
Right.
Because I think everybody is a little bit different. I think it's very circumstantial. I don't think there's like a blanket statement that we can say for all families. But that is shady boots. That like you're not invited. Especially and then you said because I'm not invited because she's been my only grandmother. Like, not my only, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, she's been my grandmother since...
Well, I don't know, but I'm the only one with a girl, so that's... No. I actually think... So I learn about these things on Facebook. When I say that, I am friends with not only my stepsister on Facebook, but all the cousins that go are also my friends on Facebook.
Yeah.
So while I didn't grow up with them and I don't know them super well, I know them as well as my sister does. Maybe not as well. Anyway, point being... The whole group that goes is friends with me on Facebook. So I see them all posting pictures. I'm like, y'all know me.
Yeah.
All of you know me, And one of the cousins' daughter went. And because most of them have boys.
That's what I meant to say earlier. I'm her only granddaughter.
Right.
And she's been I don't see her as my step-grand. Like, right. She's been around since I was grandmother. Yeah, since I was born. She's always been my grandpa's wife or whatever. I've never
Well, I have aunts and uncles that
saw her any differently from that. So yeah, that is a little shady boots. Can I tell my story now? It's a really dumb, stupid story.
Do we have comments on this?
Yes. Lauren said, I'm the youngest of three. My brothers would tell me I was adopted / found in the trash. It's the classic teasing. And I would 100% do that. I'd be like, we found you on the street. Nobody wanted you. We found you on the side of the road. I would be a terrible big sister. So it's probably best that I'm not. I always wanted a big sister. And I kind of have that through Reeves. Love you, Reva. She's my big sister. I love her. That's my best friend's older sister, and they're best friends, and I'm their sister. So we're best friends and sisters.
There you go.
Yeah.
Blended family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
On your haram shit.
On my haram shit. And then Brittany said, when you were talking about not being invited, she said, I would feel some type of way about that. It is shady. So Brittany's with you there. Terry said, when I was in my late 30s, my dad's new wife had an Easter celebration so we could meet her kids and grandkids. We were never allowed together again. That's because of my brothers, not me. That kind of sucks though, when like someone in your family does something and then kind of like the whole family's written off because of one person's actions or what. And I don't know that story.
But Terry also said she was in her late 30s. She became my stepmom when I think they got married. I was 14, but she moved in when I was like 12.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the majority of my life. So at what point am I considered
Can I tell you about the time that
part of that family?
Can I tell my story about how I really wanted to be a stepmom?
Oh, me too.
I did. I was probably like 21. I was too young to be eager to be someone's, but I was like, I want a baby, but I don't really want to like have a baby. You know what I'm saying? And so this was when I was on my single girl stuff and I was, getting DMs or whatever. And this guy DM'd me. I could care less about the guy. He had a really cute little daughter. She was so cute. And he was always posting her and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, she's so cute. So he slid in my DMs and I tried so hard to entertain it because I was like, I just want to be a stepmom to your cute little daughter. That may be creepy. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say that. Anyway, that may be perceived as creepy, but whatever. I wanted to be a stepmom. I had this whole fantasy. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a stepmom. I was going to be so fun. I get to play mommy, but on the weekends, you know what I'm saying? He was the most boring person I've ever met. I tried so hard to make the conversation.
You're like, can you bring your kid around?
It never made it past the DMs. I never even gave him my number because he was the most boring motherfucker I've ever met in my entire life. How are you doing? Good. What you doing today? Nothing. Lame, boring.
So I will say, let me go back. My stepmom has been around, but we did not get along when I was a teenager too. Now we have got along for over, 10, 15, whatever years now. But when I was a teenager, we didn't. I was basically over being a step kid. My dad, was on stepmother number 3, and I was kind of over it. So I wasn't like super in love with the idea of her when she came around. Mm-hmm. So maybe that plays a part in it. But I will say this too, and maybe that was a good experience for me, but it kind of pissed me off later. Like when I dated somebody with children, I was like, why didn't these women like me? Being a step-parent's cool. Like, yeah. You know what I mean? Again, well, maybe they didn't sign up for full time.
What Brittany said was, she said, back in the day, I was opposite. I never wanted to date a guy with kids because I wanted all of the attention. Yeah. And I think that happens a lot more so with women than with men.
Yes.
Like when the woman is dating someone.
Men expect a woman to have kids these days.
Listen to what I'm saying. Oh. When, like, think about the Parent Trap movie. Mm-hmm. Where like the wife, she wants to be with the rich guy or whatever. I
haven't seen it.
Basically, one of the twins, her dad is like has a lot of money, and he like meets this lady, and this lady like is rotten, evil, nasty, but really she just wants all the, like, she feels like the little girl's taking attention and money away from the guy, and she doesn't really like the guy, she just wants his money.
This is the Lindsay Lohan version.
The Lindsay Lohan version. Yeah. Did you know actually the Mary-Kate and Ashley is not Parent Trap? It's a completely different movie, but it's a very similar like storyline.
Is it a whole thing too where they don't know they have a twin?
No. So Parent Trap is they are twins and they're separated at when their parents get a divorce. Right. No, wait, let me finish, please. I can see it in your eyes. You're gonna start talking. Let me do this. So the Lindsay Lohan movie is they are twins and their parents break up and they say, okay, you take one twin, I take the other, which is terrible. Why would you do that? Terrible storyline. But a lot of that storyline is very similar to what happened in the Mary-Kate and Ashley, but they weren't twins in the Mary-Kate, which is funny because they were actually twins. No, they're just like doppelgangers. They just meet a girl who looks like them and then they switch places. They're not actually twins. Parent Trap
in the movie.
In the movie. Obviously in real life. And obviously Lindsay Lohan's one person. Although I've heard a thing that she, anyways. But you get what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So twins played one person or not twins. And then one person.
Regardless of who they are in real life. The movie itself
was not the Parent Trap.
It was not the Parent Trap, and they're not even twins in the movie. They're literally just doppelgangers.
I think Tia and Tamara did a movie where they weren't twins either, and they were doppelgangers.
Did they?
And then there's Hilary Duff, who meets the Argentinian girl or whatever she was, Italian girl.
Italian. Oh yeah, but they were.
Why do I know all this about kid movies?
But anyways, I think a lot of times, like women, when they're dating a man with a child, not all the time, obviously, like there are plenty of people out there, and because Brittany, she said, what'd she say? She said, but as I've gotten older, I realized that that won't always be the case.
Oh, the attention.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh, and she said the movie with Mary-Kate and Ashley is called It Takes Two, not Parent Trap.
Oh, so Brittany, that's because when you get to a certain age, you don't want all your man's attention. You're like, can you please go do something else?
Go focus on anything else.
Yeah, I need my alone time.
Yeah.
I think that's true. For real. I think as you get older, you're like, oh, okay, why don't you go hang out with your kids?
But I think it's one thing to like have that sentiment, but then to actually like treat a child poorly because you feel like they're getting more attention is actually insane.
Right.
Like I would never look at a child.
I just think I think a lot of us have turned it around in our heads, women, I'm speaking from a woman's standpoint, that we've turned it around in our heads now, this generation or my past, whatever, that now we want to see a man who treats his children well.
Right.
Right? Like if they were to ignore them and this and that, it'd be like, oh, do I want him to be the father of my kids?
Right.
Instead of being jealous that they're giving their kid attention, I think you want them to do that because it shows a level of parenting that you can
responsibility.
Respect. You can respect.
And I think women like that. Like women are kind of like
if you meet a guy and you find out his kids that he never sees and doesn't pay child support and this and that, aren't you kind of like, well, that's going to be me.
Like I was saying. Like I was saying, that's why women are so attracted when they see like a man with a puppy or like a man with a baby. You know what I'm saying? That's why like if a woman has kids, nobody really pays attention to her. But if a man is like has a baby, it's like
a hero.
Oh, you're so good.
You're so responsible.
You're such a good dad. And it's like he's literally just pushing it in his shoulder. I was also gonna say something else. Did something in here remind me of it? Let's read some comments. Solomon said, when my sister was younger, my brother and I said my parents had an earlier can you read that?
When my sister was younger, my brother and I said my parents had an earlier set of 3 kids, but they were bad, so my parents killed them and had another. not where I thought that was going.
I love the conspiracy theories. He also said, on the Parent Trap, who collectively agrees to never see one of their kids after a divorce. Worst parents ever. Actually,
and then not tell your kid that they have an identical twin. That's insane. And then it's like such a Disney sweet movie. No, it's not. That is the worst premise ever.
Literally.
Let's go back to all the Disneys. There's only one parent. Why do none of them have two parents?
That is crazy. I know what I was going to say now, because you were talking about like how your stepmom, because she's kind of maybe weird towards you, you also were, you were going through teenager time, so you're probably bitchy to her. You know what I'm saying?
And my mom moved to another state.
Right. And so like with my stepdad was in my life since I was 4 years old. So I really grew up with him like in my life.
And didn't have an ex-wife, didn't have kids.
Yeah, he didn't have other children or anything like that. And obviously you were my full-time parent, so he was also a full-time parent. And so like but I remember in high school, we had a lot of family stuff going on, and I was like so nasty to him because I felt, hold on, I'm gonna fix these lights because
I know I did that earlier and I forgot to fix it. Go ahead.
I was definitely like not the nicest to him because I still feel like he maybe deserved it a little bit.
We're going through some family stuff.
But I remember feeling like very resentful because you guys were having problems, and like I was kind of the thing that Brittany said, but opposite, right? He was like buying you all these gifts, doing all these things to get you back. But then I remember you and I went on a trip and we came back and he bought you a little present. I said, "Where's my present?"
Like those were guilt gifts.
Well, yeah, but I'm like, but from my perspective as the child in the situation, I'm like, I was hurt too. Right. Like, and everything that went on in our family, like it's still affecting me. And I felt like at the time, and I'm older now and I see things differently now, but at the time it very much felt like, okay, so he doesn't really care about me anymore. Like he cares more about mending whatever situation with you. So I was very like nasty to him. And then anytime he tried to tell me what to do, I'd be like, don't tell me what to do, and he didn't really that much, but when he did, I remember I didn't have a lot of respect for him. And then it wasn't until after I graduated college, I remember, and we've talked about my college graduation night and what a tumultuous mess that was.
But he was really there for you.
He was there, and everyone was asleep in my apartment, and me and him are like up and we're talking or whatever. And we had this like heart to heart, and it was a nice way to kind of like heal that inner child of like being like, and like I said, to this day, I'm like, he deserved it. Because what he was doing was fucked up. But
okay, well, not to call that out, and I wasn't really going to, but since we've gone down this road, he's your stepfather. He's been around since you were 4. You don't really remember much of your actual father and I being together. He does not have other children. He is not remarried, although he has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And yet, sorry that I'm calling this out right now, he has had dealings with his family that he's not invited you to.
Yeah, that after the fact, like your adulthood,
like his brother came to visit. That's your uncle. Why were you not invited to hang out with your uncle?
Yeah,
if you were his biological daughter, would he have invited you? So why though? But that you're his only child. You know what I mean? Like, what is the disconnect there? That you can blend for all this time, and you guys do still maintain a relationship. But what is it like? What happens with the extended family? Like, why is that not still blended?
Yeah, I don't know.
And I know you don't feel some kind of way about it. If it really upset you, I wouldn't bring it up. And the thing with the Vegas and the girls trip, I'm not really upset. I don't think about it, but it is one of those things that's like,
but like, why though?
Yeah. Like, why aren't you including me?
Yeah.
I don't even know that I would go. Probably would, because I like Vegas, but, and I would not mind having a relationship with those women because I don't have a lot of family.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be cool to have more people because they're all actually older than me, except my sister. So
I feel like our family is generations of blended family. I don't know any couples in our lives that have stayed together in their first marriage.
Except
there's a handful, but
my extended family is not true.
Your extended family, but I'm saying your direct line of like if we go up and your parents and their parents and their parents, and even on my other side of the family, their parents and their parents and their
parents are the only divorced ones. Huh? Everybody else is still married.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
About my other side of the family?
Oh, I don't know that. Never mind.
Oh, I get what you're saying. Your line is the only divorced line. Yeah. All the sisters and brothers.
Yes.
Okay, I get what you're saying. So, like for me, that's like very normal. Like and obviously, like I grew like as I set up my life, right? Like, obviously, I would like to stay with the first person that I get married. Like, I would like the first person I'm married to be the only person that I marry. Like, and I think, I don't know if we've talked about like generational curses and breaking generational like things like that. Like, that's definitely something I like strive to do. I don't really know if I want kids. I go back and forth. But like, if I do have children, I want them to experience, because like now to me at least, it's so rare to see people, I'm like, your parents are still together? That's crazy. Like, to me, like, that's weird. I'm like, your parents are still together and they like each other? They enjoy being together. They're not cheating. They don't got side hoes. None of that.
Although I will say it was pretty funny when I think you were in junior high, maybe the beginning of high school. I'm not really sure which.
Mm-hmm. I know what you're going to say.
You were doing the peer mentoring thing. She signed up to be like a peer mentor, which I think was a cool program, right? But she like counseled.
No, it wasn't. No, that's not what it was. Wrong. It was it was like a group thing. What was it called? We called it support group. It was. I wasn't mentoring anybody. We were all talking about our problems, Jennifer. I was like 12 years old.
Settle down. Anyway, she comes back and she's talking about it. We're at the dinner table and it's her stepfather, myself, and I, before we had issues and before we split, obviously. And Abby's like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, how'd it go? She was like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for all these, people, like all these kids and all my friends and this and that. We're like, why? And they're like, she goes like, all of them have divorced parents. And she like whispers that like, and I'm like, and she goes, it must be so hard. And I go, Abby,
hate to break it to you.
You have divorced parents. And she goes, oh yeah, but I'm like, not really. She just brushed it off. Like, no, not really. Which, because of your
I had the stability of like, I had a father figure and a mother in the household. So I guess I didn't feel that way. I guess what I was referring to at the time was there's people with like a single parent or like,
you didn't visit your dad every other weekend because he was in the military and wasn't close by.
Right. So you
didn't have to do that back and forth thing. You didn't have a whole room at somebody else's house.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You were just in your house all the time. In fact, when your dad would come visit, he would stay in our guest room.
Mm-hmm.
So he would stay at our house.
Yeah.
So that's a little unusual, I realize. But anyway, but you had a good stepfather experience for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
But he does not have other children.
Yeah.
So he was able to focus that energy.
So I'm the only child of 3 parents.
Yeah.
I'm 3 people's only child. So Christmas and birthdays are great. I get all the attention, all the love.
So now y'all know where she gets it.
It's funny because I was saying something the other day and you're like, thank you for letting me live in your world. And I'm like, you're welcome. I don't know if you all knew this. You're living in my world. The world revolves around me.
I actually don't remember what you're saying. I was like, okay, Abby, it's your world. Thank you so much for letting me live in it. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If you could get me a few more things, that'd be great.
But yeah, that's my only child syndrome problem that I have. I wouldn't consider it a problem. I actually think it's a blessing. But
so you brought up earlier, so let's just go down this road. Because you said, are we talking about race? And race had a little bit to do with it because you're Hispanic and my second husband was Caucasian, very Caucasian. Although every now and then people thought you looked like him, which not in the slightest, but whatever. People see what they want to. So I don't think you got the full brunt of that. Because you're interracial. Yeah, because family. You could pass.
Yeah.
You could pass for full Caucasian and he actually had dark hair. So there's a whole, but do you think that plays a big part in blended families when not only are you blending?
So I knew a girl when we lived in Maryland who I was friends with, and not one of the ones that you're still friends with the mom. This is a different friend. Yeah. And I remember, and I was very young when we lived there. For a reference, I lived in Maryland in like 1st and 2nd grade, and I haven't really been back. I mean, we visited once or twice, I think, but I don't talk to this girl. I don't know her anymore, but we were really close at the time. Like I would spend a lot of weekends at her house and stuff. I remember
is her mom's name actually Jennifer, just like me?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm trying to make sure I know.
I think I know who you're talking about. I don't remember though. I don't remember the mom's name, but I remember she had a very odd family situation. She had a blended family and I can't remember exactly what it was. So her mom was white and she was half black, half white. So her biological father was black.
Yeah, it is. Okay.
And then her mom, and then she had an older brother who I believe was also half Black, but I think he didn't look as much. I think he looked more Caucasian. Like she was the only person in her home who looked not fully white.
Right.
Like more obvious when looking at her. The other one, her brother, like you could kind of tell, but it wasn't as like obvious by looking at him. And then her stepdad was like a white man and he had 2 white children. I think there was like,
yeah, he was British actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember,
not that matters. I just remember his accent.
But I remember she was kind of like a bad kid, like, and she was always kind of like, there was some weird things going on in the home. And she was like, her parents made her call her stepdad, dad. And like, I don't know. I just remember it being very weird. And like looking back now, I wonder if a lot of her acting out was because she was kind of the odd one out in her family. You know what I'm saying? Mm. Like her mom was white. Her brother's technically biracial too. I think they had the same dad. I don't remember. Mm. I remember he didn't look fully white either, but definitely more so than she did, like I said. But anyways, and so like I can't help but think like, is it because she felt like the odd one out? But then I think about, like you said, in our family, like my last name was different than yours and my stepdad's, and my last name is Hispanic. I look Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? I don't speak Spanish or anything, but like,
and she really doesn't.
I never really felt weird about that, but I think it's different because I can pass a little bit. Like, you know what I'm saying? I could just look.
And there's no other children involved.
So I wonder if that blended family situation that I just described, if like maybe she was, and this was, again, we were young, we were first and second grade. She could have just been acting out because she's in second grade. But like.
Yeah, because my sister, she has biracial children in which you wouldn't know to look at her that her children are her biological children. So I wonder how much that plays a part in it. I don't know. I'm not part of that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, no, actually kind of, right? So I'm the mother in this case, but when you were small, or even for your 21st birthday, people thought you were your aunt's daughter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she's about your height and Abby,
Hispanic.
and she's Hispanic, and like, oh, that's your mom. Like, no, it's me. And so there was a lot of times that people didn't think you were actually my biological daughter.
Yeah.
And it didn't really, I don't know. It
and
didn't really
I wonder if that
me.
happens in those like blended families. There's a girl I follow on TikTok too. She's a blonde, I assume white girl. And she has a biracial daughter, but now she's dating a guy and it's a white guy. And I don't think he has, they're a young couple. They're around my age, I assume, or maybe younger. And I wonder if like people look at them and assume that she's adopted. You know what I'm saying? Because
I think I think probably now in 2024, the end of 2024, can you believe that? The end of 2024, I think we're all just mixing it up. I think we're probably overthinking it right now. I think people just don't even give it any thought anymore.
Yeah.
Like like whatever.
I think nowadays you're kind of used to seeing
every kind of blended everything.
Right.
I'm more talking about.
I think interracial relationships are way more common now than they were maybe when you were growing up. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot more biracial people in the world that you see day to day, at least where we live, because we live in a relatively diverse city. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just more talking about like when you blend and then you unblend.
Yeah.
Well,
because there's also this whole conversation about when people adopt like transracially, like if a white couple adopts like an Asian child or a Black child or like a child that very obviously doesn't look like them. A lot of people kind of go, and I don't have a strong opinion on this because I don't really know anyone who was adopted in that way. I wasn't adopted, so it's hard to like have a strong opinion on it. But a lot of people who were adopted in that way kind of talk about how that may not be fully ethical because. And like, obviously, I'm not going to go into that because there's so many different reasons why someone may be adopted or put up for adoption or why a family is adopting or whatever the situation may be. But like, in that couple that has a lot of money and then they go to another country to get a child, you're like taking them away from their culture. And like, as someone who grew up in a house with like 2 white parents, not that it's your fault or anything, like sometimes I do wish that I had more connection to like my Hispanic culture and like, but not, again, I'm not like angry. I'm not resentful for it. But like that is
to be fair, your dad actually.
He didn't either, right?
Right.
But it's weird when you look a certain way and people perceive you a certain way and they expect a certain dynamic from like, you or something.
Abby's dad doesn't speak Spanish.
Right.
And at one point in time, I haven't seen him in a long time, but at one point in time, he could also, his birth certificate says Caucasian. Yeah. Of course, back in the day, there was 2 choices.
Yeah.
But he very much could pass and doesn't speak Spanish. And so I don't know how different, unless we would have stayed near his extended family, which would have been different. But he was in the military. So I don't know how much of that cultural upbringing you would have gotten even if him and I had stayed together.
Right. And again, that's what I'm saying. It's not like my parents' fault. Like, it's just the circumstances of what it was. But I can see why there is that debate when it comes to adopting outside of your race.
Sure.
Again, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I think if you're a loving parent,
I think it's a catch-22.
I think if you're a loving adult who wants to take in a child that needs a home, then do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not here. I'm just talking about the discourse that I've seen online about this. But like, I can kind of see that though, like I had a little taste of it, but you are my biological mom. I am related to you. And I look Hispanic, but I can also, it depends on who you ask. Because some people think I do and some people think I don't. My last name's Rivera. So it's like, you know what I mean? It kind of, do they see my name and then they think that? Or do they look at me and think that? Or whatever. And so I found myself a lot of times, not so much now because I'm in a long committed relationship with an individual, but I definitely... for a long time, I felt like I was dating people who were like the culture that I wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I mean like Hispanic. You know what I'm saying? I was like, and I think that's like a subconscious thing. I don't think I was like actively like doing that, but I think I was like, well, this is a part of my culture that I feel like I was lacking. Again, no one's fault, but it's a part of my culture that I didn't have. And so I found myself like looking for that in like my adult life. But
they do say that, well, there's a lot of things they say that you're attracted to someone to remind you of your father. But I read this thing that like you are physically attracted, whether you know it or not, to someone who looks like you.
Right.
Like you see your own reflection on a daily. Not like really looks like you.
I don't think my current partner looks like me.
No.
No.
But it's also circumstance, right? Because when I was younger, my dad had said something about me dating Hispanic men. And I was like, that's predominantly the male population where we lived.
You did live in Southern California. Yeah.
I mean, And
I think it's a little bit of both. I think sometimes you're attracted.
I didn't really single that out as dating outside my race, but also, so I didn't care, but also I was like, I mean, it is what it is. Like you like who you like, but I didn't feel I was specifically trying to date Hispanic men.
Yeah.
It did work out.
It was
that
the
way.
dating pool at the time.
Exactly. And I was like, I'm dating people I meet and I'm interested and want to date.
Yeah. And I think people attract a certain kind of person too, depending on like your vibe, how you look.
Although I know it's very hard to believe, and it used to boggle my mind back then. It doesn't happen now because whatever. But back when I was younger, a lot of people thought I was Hispanic. And maybe it's just because I'll never forget when I met your dad's family and his grandma and his side of the family. He has a side of the family that does not speak English, even though he doesn't speak a lick of Spanish. And so, and I knew enough at that time to be slightly dangerous. You know what I mean? So we were at like a family gathering and his aunt had said, she's like, oh, you're dating a Mexican girl. And he's like, no, she's white. She's from the Valley. What? Like, she doesn't speak Spanish. But then they were speaking Spanish and they said something and I got enough of it to kind of laugh out loud. And they all went like, we knew you were Mexican. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm taking Spanish.
You don't need Spanish to be Mexican to know Spanish.
Yeah. But they immediately were like, we knew it. We knew you were a Mexican girl. And I was like, last name is Barnes. Really not.
I think it's time for Am I the Asshole?
I made sure we did speak about this, Brittany, that for your birthday, we made sure that we were going to do Am I the Asshole?
Yes, because we know it's your favorite. Actually, before we do that, I want to read some comments because we've been talking for a little minute now.
That's what we do. It's a talk show.
Exactly. Okay. She said, I honestly think that people feel certain. Oh, I think I already read this, but we'll read it again. I honestly think people feel a certain way towards their own biologically related family members versus people they aren't blood related to. I truly believe this because it's like that in my family. Terry said the first marriage being the only marriage is a whole different show. Yeah. I'm telling you, when I like find out that like people like my friends' parents, I'm like, Like they don't got side hoes. They live together. They sleep in the same bed. What? Like, because I get being together. Because I think some people stubbornly stay together that shouldn't stay together. But then it's like, oh, but they sleep in different beds, or but they got side hoes.
There's other reasons as you get
There's
older.
other reasons, but I'm just saying my perspective of it. I'm like, damn, and they go on dates still.
Would you?
They enjoy each other.
Abby said at one point, she goes, "At what age do you all get your own bedroom?" Because for medical and other reasons, like my parents and have separate rooms. She goes, "What age does that happen when you get your own room?"
And now I'm like so against that. Like when I am married one day,
I want my own room.
Hopefully soon, TikTok. But when I'm married one day, like I've already talked to my partner, and I'm like, no, I don't care because I hear about couples and like, oh well, so and so snores, then deal with my snoring. Like, sorry, we are not sleeping in different beds. Like it's just not happening.
Just wait till you're 50.
Maybe for a night, right? But like consistently, like, oh, you sleep in that room. No, I refuse. No. Terry said, my son-in-law's nieces spent a lot of time with us, did sleepovers with us, etc. I tried to treat them as I did my granddaughters, and they were not very receptive to it. I have no idea why. I think some people may feel,
I remember that. Yeah.
Because I also feel like even like, and you told me this story when I was very young, when you first met Josh, like I was almost scared to like love him as a father. Oh, did our Wi-Fi go out? Because if it did, that's
no, it's just the light.
Terrible. Okay. Oh, that light. Okay, I get what you're saying. What was I saying? You can get the light.
I'm trying to. I was going to remind you what you were talking about. Oh, that you were afraid to call Josh. That you're afraid to love him as a father.
Yes. Figure. Yeah. I still never called my stepdad dad or anything, but my mom said that I came to her. It's down. You have to go down. You have to go around. Oh my God. Can you talk and I'll do it?
It's right here. Okay. It's right here. Go ahead.
So I think sometimes like maybe the child and I also see this challenge on like TikTok on the internet where people will be like, oh, which parent do you love more? And I think kids feel, especially when there is some sort of divorce or divide in the family, they feel like weird taking sides. And so maybe like her treating them like a grandparent, they were like, no, I have grandparents. You know what I'm saying? Like a sense of loyalty. And that could be something that was drilled into them, right. Especially if there's like some sort of threat, right? Like if I have a child and they go off to like their other house or whatever, and they have more money or they have something that I feel like I'm lacking because I'm insecure, then I might say, you're not allowed to swim in their pool. You're not allowed to, because right. I don't want them to like the other home more than mine. So right. I think sometimes maybe that's why children act that way. And yeah, which is kind of sad because like I feel like if a child is being offered love, like, in any way, they should want to receive it. But you also don't know where the child
I had that conversation with your father when I got remarried to your stepfather, because he kind of got like, oh, well, I don't want her to call him dad, and I don't want this and I don't want that. And I finally was like, I need you to calm down for a second. Being a professional stepchild, I said, I understand how you feel, but he's not going to replace you as a father.
I understand not wanting your child to call the other person mom or dad. Like that I get. Like that to me is a good boundary. Like you can call them by their name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it was more like anyway, I said, I think you need to concentrate on the fact that this man is stepping in and actually likes your daughter and is treating your daughter well, like his own daughter, and loving her. And I get that makes you feel a kind of way. He's not taking over. But would you rather that I had somebody who didn't care for her and ignored her and shut her out? Like, which that wouldn't happen because I wouldn't allow that.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't allow that because of my own experiences.
Yeah.
So it all just comes, everything's,
Brittany also said, yeah, Randall's son is biracial. His mom has his family in charge of anything that has to do with his hair. I assume the girlfriend's white. Or the baby mama. Even her other biracial daughter that isn't related to them, she asks with help for their hair too. And that's another thing too, right? Like if you're going to have, I'm a person who has pretty much only dated interracially. So I also know the reality that if I have children in like biracial children, I'm going to like, they're not going to look like me. Right. And I may have to like do things differently than I would
learn things,
cultural
things that you don't know about. Cultural not
things,
that culture.
Not even just about like hair or like body care or anything like that. But yeah, like culturally, there's certain things that I'm going to have to go the extra mile to expose that child to.
Right.
Well, I guess.
Right.
And just other parent would,
there's just certain things in your DNA that are whatever.
So let's.
By the way, I also wanted to point out my shirt today because this is 100% the evolution of how my daughter talks to me. And so when I saw it, you very much.
I've seen that exact thing on Facebook 17 million times.
I don't care.
Okay.
Now you've seen it 17,000,001. Quit being a jerk.
Okay, we're going to read this Am I the Asshole? Okay, are y'all ready? Are you ready? Oh, let me put up the thing. Okay.
This one's for you, Brittany. It has nothing to do with you. I'm just saying. Shut up. Just read the thing.
Am I the asshole for refusing to sit next to a picture of my late husband and telling my daughter I will not be going to her wedding if that is her plan? Okay. My late husband and I did not have a good relationship. He struggled with alcoholism and ultimately drank himself to death after I divorced him. After some time, I remarried, but my daughter doesn't get along with my new husband. They have a strained relationship, and I married him while she was in college. She has hated that I have remarried and is kind of a dick to my husband. I'm a dick to every guy you've ever dated.
I know. I picked this on purpose.
Yeah, because I'm mean to every guy she dates because they're terrible. My daughter is getting married soon, and while I'm excited for her, I've had some concerns about how she's planning the wedding. She mentioned wanting to include a picture of my late husband at the ceremony, which I completely understand as a way to honor him. However, she also wants me to sit next to his picture during the ceremony, and my husband would sit elsewhere. That's crazy. I told her I'm not comfortable with that arrangement. I also learned she wanted me to sit with a picture at the family table, and my husband wouldn't be sitting there either. You just said that, girl. Anyway.
No. At the ceremony and then at the reception.
Oh, okay. I told her no. She got upset and said I was being selfish and disrespectful to her and her father's memory. I told her that if that's her plan, I won't be attending the wedding. She called me a jerk, and now family is involved. No, I don't think she's the asshole. Because, like she said, it's one thing to have the photo there because, yeah, he's your father, but he's not my husband. I divorced. It's not even like he died while they were married.
Right.
She was already divorced from him. From that man. She didn't like him.
Yeah. And like, I think I read some other comments when I was tweeting it, and someone had said, then just say, okay, well then I guess I won't be sitting at the family table then. My husband and I will still be guests, and we'll go, you can treat me as a guest then.
Right.
But I'm not going to sit next to a picture while my husband's at a guest table.
Right.
Like when I got married to your stepdad, we had a memorial for his father, right? But his mother, who's not remarried, but she does have a partner, right, was there with her partner.
Right.
And so we did have a memoriam they were divorced. You know what I mean? We did have something that commemorated him. But his picture wasn't at the table.
That reminds me of this. So on TikTok, this girl asked her boyfriend a question, or husband, I don't know. She was like, so let's say, we're married and I die and I'm buried, right? And then you get married and you have a new wife and then she dies. And then you're the last one to die. Who do you get buried next to, me or your wife? Your other wife?
We'll all be buried together.
And that's kind of what he said. She goes, wrong. But it's kind of like that sentiment, right? Like first of all, she already divorced this man before he died. So it's like, he don't mean nothing to me. What's that? Oh, he don't mean nothing to me. That's my ex, girl. That's your daddy, but that's my ex.
Yeah. So I think, like I said, we had a little spot to memorialize that person, but no.
Brittany's coming in. She said, yeah, but I also feel like it's your daughter's special day. Just let her have this moment. I don't think she's taking away from her moment, though. I think it is shady boots that the daughter's trying to because if someone tried to separate me and my partner, me and the person that I'm married to, I wouldn't want that either.
I think, yes, it's your daughter's special day, but I think it's a little much to make your mother sit next to a picture of her ex-husband the whole time.
Right.
In front of her current husband.
Yeah.
Okay. Even if she wasn't, I am not married to anybody, but if you get married and you want me to sit next to your dad's still alive. So that would be even more weird. But if he wasn't and you're like, can you sit next to a picture of him? Like he's my date.
No, I don't like that, man.
Can we just commemorate him and him have his own spot in the world? But that's not next to me. Great. Otherwise, you know what? I would say, look, baby, I'm gonna fight with him all night if you sit up next to me. I'll fight with his picture.
Yeah, for real. For real. Okay, well, thank you guys so much for watching this episode. This was a fun episode. We talked about blended families, both in the stepdad sense and also I say stepdad because that's my experience. But in the
step-parent, racial dating, not even being married.
Yeah.
And And the extended family, like, where do you draw that line? If you break up in a relationship, are they still your family? Anyway, thank you so much. We're gonna have a special Halloween / Abby's birthday episode next Friday.
Yeah.
If you can join, and we have some little personal life announcements to make at that time.
We do.
It's gonna little teaser for
you.
Little
teaser.
So if you can join, we'll have some candy.
Please do.
If you want to trick or treat. Not really.
Okay, peace and blessings. Love you. Bye.
Thank you, bye.